Hey everybody, welcome to the Song Revolution podcast, brought to you by Nashville Christian Songwriters. Nashville Christian Songwriters exists to empower Christian songwriters worldwide. I'm John Chisholm, and this podcast exists to bring you valuable songwriting insights, inspiration, interviews, and just all around good fun with some of the greatest songwriters, producers, arrangers, artists, and creatives, and beyond. You can find out a whole lot more about us at NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com. Hey everybody, John Chisholm here for the Song Revolution podcast, the podcast that brings you revolutionary stuff for your songwriting. This week is no different. If you're a fan of Southern roots rock bands like ZZ Top, Allman Brothers, and Lynyrd Skynyrd, you're just going to really enjoy this week's guest, Rhett Walker of the Rhett Walker Band. Rhett's a Carolina boy, just carrying on the tradition of Southern roots rock with a whole lot of Jesus thrown in. We had a great conversation about his family, how important his kids and his wife are to him and his papa, and just about the demands placed on him as a successful songwriter, touring artist, and family man. Rhett's a Grammy-nominated songwriter. They've got a new EP coming out in August with some great songs, seriously, that have already been hitting hard at radio and winning a lot of new fans for this Southern rocker with an unmistakable voice. I really enjoyed this conversation. I mean, we laughed and we started co-writing a couple of songs on the show because this dude just drips creativity, sincerity, authenticity, and true Southern charm. So go get yourself some sweet tea and take a minute to remember why we all love Sweet Home Alabama, whether we've ever been there or not. I know you're going to love the music and the soul of our new friend, Rhett Walker. Well, all right, Rhett Walker, man, welcome to the show.
Yes. Glad to be on it with you, brother.
It's so fun, man. You know, I love the show because I get to meet new people you and I have not met, known your name, known your rep, you know, your nominations, all the things that have been going on. But getting to listen through your music and just get really familiar, it's so cool. I love what you're doing, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. You know what I want you to know? It's like the Instagram version of me. Whenever you know the nominations and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like what I hope people see me as, but the reality is like I'm running around. My daughter had like dentist appointment today. I've got all these meetings and I finally just now got like a caffeinated drink, which I should have gotten first this morning, but
exactly.
But that's the version people don't know. The not so hunky-dory version.
Well, I just realized how sucky my intro was right then when I said, "Hey, I love your music. Congratulations." That's probably the worst artist welcome I've ever done. But like, you know, I'm the end all be all. But seriously, man, I mean, I really have enjoyed these songs and just your style, of course, and
Thanks,
the rootsy rock. Gutsy thing. I grew up in Memphis, so, you know, I love that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But tell us a little bit about you, man. Where'd you come from? And this is just like, you've got this EP coming out. We'll talk about it in a bit, but, you know, you're on your second record, I think. So kind of tell us where you're from, man. Who's Rhett, the non-Instagram Rhett?
Yeah. Man, I'm a dude from the Carolinas originally. Was born in North Carolina and kind of raised in South Carolina. And so I kind of grew up on, you know, like a Southern style of music, which is weird because you find like these little pockets, you know, of like different styles of music all over the world. But specifically in America, like where I was, there was no genre line between like Southern rock and then gospel. Like it just kind of happened, you know, you would have like the Crab Family or, you know, the Gaithers or even, you know, just all these old like kind of quartets and like Southern gospel music that would be the same with like this Southern rock country music. So I never knew if we were listening to Christian music or Southern rock, it'd be 38 Special to Lynyrd Skynyrd to the Crab Family, which I love the Crab Family. So
Allman Brothers.
the Allman Brothers. I mean, everything. I was talking about adding Mississippi Queen to my set list just because I love that guitar part so bad.
Of course.
And I was like, I don't know if anybody will even know this song, but it's even better because then they'll just think I wrote it. So I can pretend. I've had people tell me before, they're like, man, I really love that Simple Man song that you sang. Like, when did you write that? And I was like, before I was born, So, but nah, man, grew up Southern dude, sun drop drinking, just kind of like, loving life, dude. Like, I love life. I love the outdoors. I love the sun and music and family to me just all kind of work in tandem together with that. I don't take myself too seriously. I just try to enjoy life. It's too short to take too seriously.
Sun drop drinking and moon pie eating. There you go.
Dude, are we writing a song right now?
I think so. It's a co-write right here on the show. But yeah, my granddaddy ran a little, you didn't call them convenience stores back then. It was a little gas station, right?
Yep.
And, the sun drops and what were those little chocolate things? I forget. Like a chocolate Coke thing, but and moon pies. And that's
I love moon pies.
That's the way it happened. I know,
Look,
right?
this is crazy. People think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. Because when I grew up, like, gas stations were a thing. Like, to me, like, I still love gas stations. Like, I have a list on my phone of, like, all the places. If I look at our routing and I'm like, okay, we're going to Texas or we're going to wherever, I'll look and I will tell the bus driver, like, here's the gas station we need to stop at. And I know what they have. Like, there's this one on 840 by my house when I'm going to Franklin for a meeting. They have tall boy sun drops and then like a little dude in there that makes cheeseburgers. And so I don't care if I just ate, I'm stopping there.
You come out smelling like that too, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not healthy, but whatever.
Coming out smelling like fried chicken. Yeah.
Heavenly
Well, that's
smell.
cool. Yeah. Well, I grew up, Johnny and Edgar Winter, B.B. King, the kind of the Memphis blues rock thing.
Man.
So I really identify with your sound. And so how'd you get started? Just pick up a guitar, or what happened there?
Yeah. So, like, for me, my dad, he actually sang in a quartet, and so music's kind of always been around. My sister is a fantastic singer. My mom's a great listener, and I was a drummer. So it all kind of started, on the church, platform. My dad would lead and play guitar, and my sister would sing. And then the church got drums, and I started learning how to play drums. And it wasn't until I got married at an early age. And when I got married, my wife was like, I think she heard me sing like a Garth Brooks song or something on the way back from the mountains. She was like, you actually can sing. And I was like, oh, she's just trying to make me feel good about myself. But they asked me to come off the drums one Sunday at church and sang Todd Agnew, Grace Like Rain, and never went back, just kept singing. So I don't know if I was either that great of a singer that they're like, God, we got to get him to sing more, or I was just that bad at drums that they were like, okay, him singing is a better option.
That's great. Like, I'd rather hear him sing than eat, and I've seen him do both.
Yes, exactly. So the verdict's still out on that. If I end up joining a band on drums, then we know how it really went down. But so, man, I just started playing and started writing. I think it all kind of starts there. Like, I have books upon books of songs that'll never see the light of day, just because I'm not good at journaling. I want to be, but like the way I get like things out of my head or things I'm going through is just sitting down, like jotting down kind of lines that rhyme, and they usually just turn into songs. So I guess I'm kind of journaling to a certain degree, but I'll sit down and not even having an idea of where I'm going. It's usually just off of a feeling. And so I started doing that and moved to Nashville where dreams are made.
And they're
it's
overnight
gone
too.
off. Yeah. Oh yeah. They happen so quick. You just walk into town.
You got your boots on, your suede jacket, you head down to Music
Everything,
Row,
dude.
and there it is. So I'm sure it happened pretty instantly for you.
No. So I was very reluctant about moving to Nashville because I was a worship leader. And so long story short, me and my wife, now we've been married for 14 years this year. She got pregnant when I was 17. She was 18 and had a little girl. It was one of those things where it was like, man, like the life we're living is just hell. Like we're not seeing fruit from it. We're not living it to the best of our ability. We're not putting God first in our life. We're not any of these things. We're just running, and it was hell, and it was scary, and it was just filled with anxiety and worry. And so I told her, I said, you know what? Like from here on out, we've done everything wrong we possibly can. From here on out, let's try to do this thing right. And so we got married. We had our little girl, which is crazy. She's 13 now, and she's at youth camp this week, which is nuts because I'm 31 with a 13-year-old. But just started, leading worship and was able to land like a spot at a church where I wasn't working another job. And then we moved and we moved and we moved, just kind of kept moving up. And I just remember feeling like I should move to Nashville. And I was like, God, I'm not telling my wife that I feel we should move to Nashville, but we've moved 5 times already. And, and I'm 20, so it's like we've been married for 3 to 4 years and we moved 5 times. And my mom called me the next day and she was like, you know what? She said, have you ever thought about moving to Nashville? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, if you're going to be a surfer, yeah. She's like, if you're going to be a surfer, you move to the ocean. If you're going to do this, I really feel like you should move to that town. And so, man, I moved here. I sent 2 churches an email asking if they needed like a worship leader. And me and God were kind of having the conversation of like I was just, God, you got to prove this. Like, I'm not even going to tell them that I've been leading worship for years. Like, you've got to handle this because I don't want to overstep you and I don't want to do something because it seems exciting. And so within 2 weeks, we were moving to Nashville. And then 2 years later, I signed a record deal. And so it all just, it's been nuts. It's been faster than I thought it was. But me and my wife were talking about it the other day, looking back at how I felt during those 2 years. Those were the longest 2 years of my life, like trying to come up with money to make demos and hoping they're in people's hands that they need to be in. You never know. So it's been a whirlwind, but man, I've loved every single second of it, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. That's for sure.
I bet Mama feels proud of herself too, huh?
Yeah. So it's crazy too. She's always been that kind of person.
Good.
Just a truthful, prayerful person. But the crazy cool thing about it is I kind of had to God, you've got to, not that he's never not shown himself big, but I was like, you got to show yourself big because I don't want to make the wrong choice moving 7 hours away from family. And so we get here. My mom's prayer from our family was, I forget the scripture offhand, but it was that we would grow like cedars of Lebanon. And so we got this church. We said, find us a rental property. We have 2 kids. We just want to be close to the church. So they found us a place to rent when we first moved here. Pulled into town. The house is in Lebanon, Tennessee. And it's the town sign is Cedars of Lebanon.
There you go.
And I was okay, all right. I mean, it's crazy, but it's, it's really cool when God does little things like that just kind of shows you, right, you're in the right spot.
Mama's getting words. Hey, have her call me, okay? I need a few right now.
Exactly. I should be calling with no crap either. We need some good stuff. We need the big stuff.
Right? Nothing negative. Nothing like, I see another 12 years of slogging through mud. No, it's got to be. No, we want the instant stardom thing. Well, you've done great, dude. I mean, obviously, God's hand is on you for this, and your demos got to the right people, and you got some cool things going on. So, tell me a little bit, because you got nominated for a Grammy. Congratulations!
Thank you.
For When Mercy Found Me. Beautiful song, amazing song. Where did that particular thing come from for you?
Yeah, so that was kind of more or less, that was my testimony in a song. So when we moved to Nashville, I started, doing the worship stuff, and I was like, you know what? I want to be able to not just like sing other people's worship songs. And so I was kind of finding myself as an artist, and less as like a worship leader. And I was like, man, I really feel like I've got something to say, but what would I say? And my biggest thing ever since I was a kid even has just been authenticity. And I think you can write a song that means 100% something to just you, and that most of the time will end up relating to more people because they might not have lived that story, but they can relate it to something in their own life. And so I was like, I want to do that. That's not just a corporate song, and I want to write music that challenges the status quo and tells my story. And so sat down with a buddy of mine and just kind of talked about that moment when me and my wife, April, were like I said a minute ago, it's like our life is just hell right now, and it's hard, and we've got to stop doing the things that we're doing, focus on who God is, and run head towards that kind of moment where that changed. And we saw Jesus for who he was. I think being a pastor's kid, I always knew the right answers to say. I always knew the right things to do. But I feel like I had my dad's Jesus. And so it's kind of when I got to that age and me and April got married, it was like, okay, I can't go to heaven on my dad's coattails. Like if I believe this, I got to find Jesus for me. And so literally was a thing of, I was like, dude, in one moment, like everything changed. And so we started writing it from there. And if you heard the demo, you'd wonder why it was nominated for a Grammy. Because that demo, dude, I listen back to it now because that was 2012, and I'm like, what did we record this demo on? It was like the worst version of GarageBand or something.
We're going to take just a quick break and talk about something that I think is going to be very valuable for you as a Christian songwriter. So check it out.
Do you feel like God's given you a bunch of songs, but you don't know what to do with them? Do you feel like you've got a real call on your life to write, but you're clueless about where to start? Or maybe you've got writer's block and you're wondering if you'll ever get the creative juices flowing again. Well, we've got you covered with NCS membership. NCS membership is all about community and how to grow in this calling you feel deep inside to be heard. We get it. We know that you just want to honor God with your talents and be a good steward of what he's given you. And that's why NCS membership could be your next right step to grow, learn, be challenged, get connected, and ultimately fulfill your dreams to glorify God and reach others with the same passion you feel. It's designed to help you tell your story and to reach listeners who will love your songs. With your NCS membership, you'll receive 2 free song critiques, 24/7 access to valuable masterclasses on topics such as modern hymn writing, worship writing, song form, lyric development, and recording home demos, as well as discounts for other NCS products, and a deep connection into a community of creatives who get you. There are a lot of songwriters out there, so you need to be the best you can be to stand out, be heard, and become the songwriter you were born to be. Just go to NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com now to check out all the great benefits of becoming part of a decidedly Christian community of songwriters from all over the world. NCS membership, your next right step to being heard.
Well, I just hope that you'll take advantage of that and check it out. All right? We bring you good stuff here on the Song Revolution podcast. So back to our episode.
Well, listen, man, you're dripping song hooks, and so I want to write this one with you called "My Daddy's Jesus."
There we go.
Right?
See, look, don't put this in the podcast. Now there's going to be 400
I know,
My
right?
Daddy Jesuses.
We'll cut this one out. But that's a good hook, isn't it? My Daddy's Jesus. That's seriously.
It's either like the worst country song you've ever heard or like the best Christian song you've ever heard.
Yeah, I know, right? It could be either. Well, I have to tell you, I love the authenticity thing, right? That's always been a real theme of mine. One time I preached a whole sermon on how we should not have facades in our life.
Oh gosh,
I just went on and on and on about facades. We shouldn't have this, God doesn't like facades, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the service, my sweet wife comes up and she says, "Honey, what's a facade?" And I said, "It's that mask, that wall, that fake thing we do." And she said, "That's a facade." But God don't want facades. That's not a good hook, but God don't want facades in our life.
Yeah, I love that. I want to do that at like a staff meeting at a church, but be just extremely serious about it. Like where they feel they can't tell you it's wrong because you're so like, they second guess how it's really pronounced.
I know. Well, actually, I use that a lot when I'm preaching or teaching. I'll start talking about that, and you can just tell, the sphincter factor just goes way up. People they tighten up. It's like, oh my gosh, he's like, doesn't know.
Facades. Sorry, I meant facades. It's pronouncing it wrong. Facades. That's
something we eat at East Coast Burrito, isn't it? Facades, but
dude. I've had a facade. It messed me up. Messed up for about 2 or 3 days.
I was toe up. Well, okay, man. So you guys, you had the 2012 Come to the River, the Grammy nom, and then Here's to the Ones in 2014. And now you've got this new EP coming out, right? In August, and you've had the single "Say Hello," which is awesome. Video is awesome.
Yep.
So
thanks, dude. I've probably had the funnest writing this record, just because like there is no end goal, other than let's just put out the best daggone music we possibly can, and just put it out there. And the other thing that I wanted to change that was different than the last couple of times was, I was like, man, I don't want to put out one single and then wait 8 or 9 months and put out a record of 10 songs, probably 3 that'll be singles, and then 7 songs we hope people care about or get to with just the amount of music that is out there. I told the label, I was like, look, fast food is not fast enough for people anymore. So let's just release more music more often. So we looked at doing an album, looking at doing an EP. So I was like, let's just do this EP. Let's do it in August. Let's put out 6 songs, and let's put out 3 songs leading up to it. So we put out our, the single that went to radio, of course. And then the second song was a song called Like Your Father Does that just had a very personal story to me. And then the third song we just put out this month was called Peace in the Family. That was just more of a song of kind of what I was viewing and seeing happening in the world today. And just the fact that, love is always free. Like we can unify with that. And then the EP comes out next month. So it's like being able to lay out more music, being able to conversate with my fans and friends more often about new things is so awesome. I mean, a lot of things fans don't realize is they're like, dude, you're Instagramming, hey, check out our new single for 8 months. It's like, well, yeah, I don't have any other new songs out that I can talk about. So it's either that or dumb photos of my animals. So it's like I would rather be able to talk about more music in my stories than just fill up your Instagram feed of stupid pictures. So
Yeah, right.
so we are, and
You
I
got
love it. And
you have pictures of your cats.
yeah, well, I don't like cats, so I don't have any cats. I got a little Maltese dog.
There you go.
Because I'm a Southern dude and wanted a massive, scary dog. So my kids are like, we want a toy Maltese. And that thing, Lord, I look like the most unmanly guy driving around with that dog in my truck. Like a little white fluff ball. Looks like a cotton ball.
Now that's an Instagram. You need to do that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Beware of this thing.
Well, you don't want to see its teeth, let me tell you. Well, Peace in the Family just stomps, man. That's a great song. Like Your Father
dude.
Does. It's so tender. Nobody's going to love you like your father does. And just great. Man, great music. Say Hello, kind of the tent revival vibe. And just, it's good. Hand clapping, stomping, turn it up in your car down the highway.
Thanks,
kind of
man.
music. Yeah, no, seriously. So take us a little bit into your songwriting process. Like, do you start with your hook? Do you just ramble around? You don't journal, so you got to keep all this in your head. But how do you go about kind of coming up with your song ideas and stuff?
I kind of ramble around for a while. Usually a hook will somewhere come. I like to just write. I don't like to find a hook and then write towards that. Sometimes it happens that way, but for the majority of the time for me, I feel like the hook I come up with first ends up being a better hook somewhere in the first verse, and the more I kind of dive deeper into the song, it kind of starts to write itself. But like Your Father Does, man, I went into the studio. I've got 4 kids now, 13, 11, 5, and 2.5 months. So we finally figured out what was causing that. And
exactly. It's Mexican. It's those facatis.
It is. It's the facatis every time. It'll do it to you. But I was like, man, I want to write a song for my kiddos. We've got, if this is trying to just really show me and what God has done in my life, and my prayer for my music has always been that people will see how big of a God we serve. Because if it was up to Rhett, I'd have screwed this up a long time ago. But the fact that I can tell my story pointing to something bigger is something I've always loved and appreciated. And so I was like, man, we wrote about me, finding Jesus in my marriage and getting married at a young age. And I want to write a song about my kiddos. And so I went in, the first verse was I knew God had blessed our life from the sound of your first cry. You made us a family and all of these things that just took it, talking about my kiddos. And then my dad called while I was in the studio writing, and he told me that my pawpaw went to the hospital and it wasn't looking good. And long story short, my pawpaw ended up passing away, but we finished that song, and it drastically changed the idea of the second verse, because I started not just seeing myself as a dad, but looking at my dad as a son who was looking at his dad as a son, who his dad was about to meet our Heavenly Father. And so I got the demo to him. They played it to him before he passed away. They asked me to sing it at his funeral. And then the second time I played that song, I sang it at his funeral for the first time. The second time I played it was a couple months back when it came out, almost a year to date to when my pawpaw passed away, for my 10th time at the Opry here in Nashville. So it was this cool, inner moment for me of I knew the whole story behind the song. My pawpaw grew up listening to the Grand Ole Opry. My dad grew up listening to the Grand Ole Opry with him. It was a stage that he always loved to hear his grandson play on. And then I was able to debut that song there for my 10th performance at the Opry. So it was all these cool little things of you know what, that I couldn't have made this happen. It's just a cool God thing that ended up happening that way. And so I think that's one of the reasons I'm I'm super stoked about this EP just because each song has like its own little story to it. And I think that's why we handpicked, because I probably wrote 15 songs for this EP and 6 of them are coming out. So just trying to put out the best material that we can and the most timely material that we can.
I have to tell you, man, I walked into the Ryman for the first time a few years ago, and man, I got the anointing on me. I could have got up on that stage, and I don't care who was there. I could have preached down the Holy Ghost, man. I mean, do you feel like that when you're on the stage there?
Yeah, there's something special to it, man. Like you kind of walk in knowing the people that have walked on that stage before you, and the stories that have not only like impacted people's lives, but like the songs that have kind of crafted this music industry and the names that have walked across that stage. It was cool to be a part of it, to like get to kind of be a part of that family and play music there. And, you know, I told the guys too, when we're walking up on stage, I said, look, love has probably been said 1,000,000 times tonight in all these different band songs, and it's kind of thrown around loosely. But we're about to sing a song about the daggum originator of love, like our Heavenly Father. We get a chance to stand up on this stage and talk about that. So let's not just be excited that we're playing this. Let's not hold lightly like what we're about to say. Like, let's run with it and let's go after it. So it was fun, man. I'll never forget those moments.
Sweet. So Rich, congratulations. You know, man, that's a dream a lot of people have that never gets fulfilled. So to be there, you know, 10 times or more and just seeing this thing build, it's awesome, man. And you're working hard, sharing your heart. Who do you work with? Like, who's producing with you? Who are your mates and all this that are out there with you?
So me and a guy named Jeff Pardo here in town, we wrote When Mercy Found Me together. And me and him have wrote a lot for this EP. And then me and him have just become friends over the years, which is great because he's from Chicago and I'm from the Carolinas. So we literally are nothing alike at all. But we both love to write music and we both like writing the same style of music. So it's kind of weird. It's like we'd have never have met outside of music. But then because of these songs, like, we're good friends. And I did the first 2 records with Paul Moak at the Smokestack here in Nashville and loved it. I mean, we've tracked everything live to 2-inch tape and just kind of went after it and tried to like find the best, you know, kind of sounds that we can. When it comes to demoing, you know, everything's kind of in the can and you just roll with it. But I feel like getting in the studio, it should be a creative process and not like a daunting kind of thing where you just want to get it done. So we go in and we chase down sounds no matter how long it takes and just kind of find what it should be. Because so many times I think with music, Christian music, country music, rock music, rap music, whatever, like we spend a lot of time adding things and not sharing the sonic space that a song actually needs. And so it's cool to like put down a full band, you know, to tape and see like how you're going to play this song together and how you're going to like do it live. Like, I don't want to have a song that has 17 guitars on it and then have 2 guitars on it live with a bunch of tracks. So it's really cool. And that, I think that part just coming from the South and how bands used to play, like, that's a big thing to me of kind of being authentic and how we play the songs also.
So do your amps actually have tubes in them?
Yes. And we actually have amps. So no, yeah, man, we're still, I mean, we're drums and 2 electrics and bass and like keys, organ. And that's what it is. And it's us like going through vocals over and over and just trying to like put together a good show that tells a story and, you know, just kind of
sweet,
being fun, having fun playing live.
have these guys traveled with you? Like, have they been the Rhett Walker band for a long time?
Yeah, so that I get asked that question a lot. The Rhett Walker band is essentially me, Rhett Walker, with band. And so I've got the same guys that like are usually with me. Just because you start to travel so much, it's like, hey, I'm gonna take you for the next year of your life. And so, they kind of
right.
sign off on it, but it's way better because that way you can actually get better together and play together instead of just play parts. So it's not a revolving door, but I have different people that come out with me for different shows, and it's according on what we're playing and according on kind of like we've done some at the Opry, is a lot different than if we do like kind of a big rock festival and just kind of like the arsenal that I bring out. And so the cool thing is the guys I have the same passion for music and for Jesus and for just having one heck of a fun time on stage. So I'm able to kind of handpick on according on what show we're playing, who I'm bringing out.
Cool, man. Well, that's awesome. I just look forward to seeing you live myself, maybe at the Ryman. What?
Come on.
Yeah, seriously, man. I bet it's pretty awesome. What would be the one thing you'd say to aspiring songwriters? That's a lot of our audience. What's the one thing that people that are kind of outside the bubble looking in, that you might share?
Man, the thing I've said since day one to kids or adults or whoever it is that ask me, like, how do I write songs? How to do this? Like, don't just try to write pretty words. Like, don't throw Jesus in there to sell a record. Like, don't say certain cliche things just because it sounds cool. Like, write what you think is probably going to suck and continue to write it. And it might be 1 out of 100, but that 1 out of 100 will be the most you song that only you could write. That is the song people listen to and go, how did I miss that? It's those songs you hear on the radio where you're like, why did I not write this song? Like, I could have wrote this song. And I don't think it's because they said things that were catchphrases or put some certain buzzwords in there that caught your attention. I think it was just so that human being that you kind of resonated with it. And so my biggest thing to songwriters is don't just try to like put pretty words together. Just write songs and be you and dare to suck. I say that all the time, especially when I go in to write with new people, like on Music Row, or, if I'm writing with flying somewhere to write with people I've never wrote with before. The first thing I say when I go in the room is I go, look, I'm going to dare to suck when we write this song. So don't be afraid of hurting my feelings, but I'm going to say some stupid stuff. And you're going to go, oh my God, who am I writing with? Why would he ever say that line? But I would rather say that than keep it in my head, just rumbling around. Let's get it out there because maybe it'll spark an idea, and I think that's when you can actually write collectively with people. But if you're trying to write a song in your head the whole time while you're writing with other people, it's never going to work.
It's true. Well, dude, I know we're going to be seeing lots of new pictures of your little fluffy dog in your truck on Instagram, but
yes. So don't forget to look out for that.
What's your favorite way to interact with the people who are following you? How do you like to connect?
Yeah, man, I love to connect on Instagram. It's just fun for me. I'm a big people person. I believe in family more than anything. Those are the two things that just matter a lot to me. And so being able to kind of see people's lives and interact with them, and then Instagram has all kinds of like different ways to do things while you're bored or sitting on the potty with nothing else to do. So Instagram is my go-to. Twitter, I get on there, but I don't write like philosophical, like massive things that's going to blow your mind. So if you follow me on Twitter, you won't get any smarter. You're not going to get dumber, but you won't get any smarter. And then Facebook, that's kind of where I'm posting like massive things that, people need to know. Like, hey, don't forget to check out, we've got these shows coming up. And Facebook's kind of the catch-all of everything social media wise. So you just got to pick your poison, really.
Rhett Walker, man, it's been great having you on today. We're going to co-write that song, My Daddy's Jesus. And, oh, wait, I was going to cut that out, but oh,
Yeah,
well.
you got it.
Shoot.
Now there's going to be 30 versions turned into labels of My
I know,
Daddy's
but
Jesus.
I know, but we have it on the podcast. We've got a timestamp now that this hook was born right here. So,
Yeah, I'm going to write one called My Jesus Daddy.
Is that like my baby daddy? My daddy? Wait. Or
baby maybe it's a statement like, my Jesus Daddy.
We better sign off now. But, Rhett, man, it's been great to get to know you, dude. Thanks for being on the show.
Dude, anytime. Thanks, brother.
Hey, everybody. I hope that you know by now that we here at Nashville Christian Songwriters are all about empowering you to fulfill your call to become a great Christian songwriter. And the best thing that I think you can do is to join a like-minded community of believing songwriters dedicated to fulfill that call. So I want to invite you to jump over to NashvilleChristianSongwriters.com, even right now, to check out what we call NCS membership, where you can go deeper into all the resources that will kickstart your creativity, unlock hidden songwriting abilities that you didn't even know you had, and take some important steps towards becoming the songwriter that you were born to be. I believe that you were born to be heard, and NCS membership helps you get there. I'll see you next time.